Have you heard about Peekaboo Pockets and Cascading Pages? Well, if you haven't, or even if you have, stick around. Let's take a look at some. Hello, scrapbookers and creative friends. I'm Linda Patouk, Creative Memories Independent Advisor in Jupiter, Florida. Today, I wanted to talk about Cascading Pages, but I want to give a little shout out to Jana Wallace because she asked me if I had a video about Peekaboo Pockets, so I decided I would combine the two because Cascading Pages are made with Peekaboo Pockets. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share some of the Peekaboo Pockets and ways that I've used them because you can set them up in different ways. And then I also am going to share Cascading Pages. Now, I do have to give a couple of shout outs. Lanita Medina she's an advisor, and she did a video for the virtual crop, I believe it was last month, and taught Cascading Pages, on which the one she showed us, she fit 50 pictures on one page for her daughter, so which is a fabulous idea. Then I watched that video and I started playing with it and made a sample with designer paper. But then I saw Beth Beller. I'm on Beth Beller's team, but I saw Beth Beller did it using a 12 by 12 photograph and cutting that for the Cascading Pockets. So I was intrigued by that and I wanted to try that as well. So I mentioned this to my croppers and they said, oh, we want to learn. So one of my teammates, Mary Provost and I, got together and we decided that we would make samples. Mary wrote up wonderful notes, and then I added a couple of things that I discovered, and that's what I'm going to share today, is how I've used Peekaboo Pockets, and my grand finale, I will show you how I made my Cascading Pages. And I hope that you enjoy it and it inspires you. Let's get going. If you're familiar with Peekaboo Pockets, then you may want to fast forward during the Peekaboo Pocket part, or you can stick around and see how I did it if you want a little refresher. So Peekaboo Pockets, Creative Memories makes those for us, and they come in all these different sizes: 4x6, 6x12, 5x7, 4x4, 3x4, and 3x3. These are all the sizes that are available right now on the Creative Memories website. And the thing is, when they're odd sizes, like the 4x6, can also be used as 6x4, but we'll talk about that and I'll show you in some of my samples. Now, the original Peekaboo Pockets had a clear piece of plastic over the adhesive, and to be honest, the most frustrating, most difficult part of using a Peekaboo Pocket was after you filled it with your photos, was trying to find that plastic and peel it off. But voila, look what they did. The new ones have a white strip of plastic on there, makes it much easier to find. These are some of the newest 6x12. So they are, as I said, they come in those different sizes, which are really great. These are the littler ones. So I have them all because, sometimes you have a tiny little picture, and they're really good to use if you have a picture or two, a photograph or two that you want to add to a page, but you don't want to make another entire page. Sometimes it'll happen to me that I'll say, oh darn, I forgot about that picture. So rather than redo a page, you can just add a Peekaboo Pocket. So I'm going to show you some examples. This is one of my annual albums. This was my 2021. I discovered when I started looking for some to share with you that I used a lot in this year. I don't know why. Okay, so you can use them. This is the 6x12, and you can use them as shutters. So I decided, now I hope you can see this. I know I've got the page protectors on here because you do apply them to the page protectors. But this is a shutter. I use it like a shutter, like a peekaboo here. This was my son and daughter-in-law in Lithuania, and I had so many gorgeous pictures. I wanted them all, but I didn't want to make several pages. So you can use it like a shutter, like this, and you can add all these other photographs on it. That's one way. And then in January, I pretend it's like real wintertime here in Florida. So what I did was I decorated my house all in blue and snowflakes. So I decided I didn't, again, want to make a whole new page. So I made an accordion. So this is actually 3 Peekaboo Pockets, which gives you 6 more photographs, and which would be like another whole page. But you, just by taking that adhesive and sticking it to I adhere the first one down, then I would adhere it to the second one, and then adhere it to the next one. You just need to be aware of how they're folding. And I generally have it so that the pocket would be inside or underneath. I found to be consistent with that, that's probably the easiest way. Now, as I said before, these could have been aligned this way, but of course for these photographs, because they were vertical, I had it go this direction. So there's one. I'm going to keep just showing you some more examples. This is a 5x7. I think, oh no, it's a 4. No, I think it is a 5x7. Our sweet Lola, we lost our little girl, 2021. So this, but I had several pictures I just loved, and then I used the 5x7 for a favorite picture of me with her. She loved to be upside down. But then I had some cards that I also put in here. Okay, I mean, you'll see that I have a lot of them where I had information or an extra photo, and I didn't want to use a whole page. Here, more desserts for 4th of July. And rather than make another page, because I had 2 more photos that I wanted to add, I just put them in the Peekaboo Pockets, because it can add, and because they're clear, of course, you can position them in such a way that they can completely cover it up, or you can peekaboo through it. That's the Peekaboo. Okay, here's another, oops, I skipped one. Okay, you see I have a lot here. Now, there's also the option of putting like a little tab or a little sticker sticking off if you want to have as a signal, kind of, that you're gonna be able to open that up. So here's another accordion. So this beautiful orchid, I had a lot of pictures of that. Okay, so we've got that, another accordion here. This one, pop up. What's that one? Oh, again, I just have a lot of garden pictures, but that way you can add more without adding a whole page. And over here, and this one, I had it so that it would kind of flip like a book. All right, so it's a short book, 3 pages in here, but I have there's one underneath here, and see, they don't even go the same direction, but this was all views of Vilnius in Lithuania. So I had these 6 vertical pictures, and then I added it on top of the horizontal picture, and it works just fine. Gives you a little peekaboo, again, of what you're going to be looking at. Let's find my next one. Oh yes, okay, so I did a shutter on this page as well. This was another little boy we adopted. He had heartworm, and we gave him some good last few months. He was very sick, but we wanted him to have happy home at the end. So this was Kevin. I named him Kevin, and Kevin I put in the shutters like this to open like a book, and that way you can fit so many more pictures. But again, it's all contained on one page. Let me see next one. Okay, this one, this was after our Thanksgiving dinner. We used to decorate gingerbread houses. Now we're being more practical, and we're decorating gingerbread cookies. So who knows, we may go back to houses. But I have these extra pictures, and I did put them like a book, but you can see I staggered them, because here's the one that's down on the page, and then I have these other Peekaboo Pockets, but I didn't line them up exactly. I let them kind of cascade sideways, and there they go. So that way I got all those pictures in there, but just in this one little spot. They really are a blessing when you have a lot of pictures. Okay, and then here's another one. And this I did multiples, but I did them flipping up. So you do have the versatility of using these horizontally or vertically, whatever works for your photographs. And one more I was going to show you here. And this, what I like about them also, so this was the treats that I made this year for Christmas, or that year for Christmas. And I decided to, I didn't want to make another page. So I used the back of the book here, and then I put the pictures inside here. Put my list of all the things I made, and then I put the picture here. This I just adhered right down, straight down there. But it's kind of nice because, you know, you could add 4 if you wanted to, and it gives you a little more space, but then it protects whatever you have in here, so you can flip it up and down. And that's that. So now that's how I use the Peekaboo Pockets. And as I said, they have all those different sizes. So if you're making little photos, even up down to 3 by 3 is the smallest, but that would be really fun. And it's very interactive. So kids and adults love interacting with those Peekaboo Pockets. So now, though, I want to take you on a cascading page journey, and I'm going to share what I've learned and what I've learned from others and what I learned myself by doing them. The Cascading Pages use these 6 by 12, 6 inch by 12 inch pockets, okay? So what you're going to be building them on is either a regular page. It doesn't have to be white. It could be Spargo. It could be black, whatever pages you have. But you're going to build it on a page after you've put the page protector on it. Now, if you want to have a piece of designer paper, you want to put your designer paper down here first, then put your page protector on it, because you'll be adhering this to the page protector, okay, which gives it a little more fluidity when you're trying to line them up, because you're on the page protector. I mean, you don't want to lift and replace them lots and lots of times, but you do have that flexibility that you can. Now, I did make one sample on a regular page, but I found myself, I do like these top loading pockets, and I ended up making quite a few on here, and I'm going to show you what I did with that. And the reason I like that is because you're going to be adhering the pockets, of course, to this plastic here. And the other thing, you do want to be careful that you don't get this sticky adhesive onto the jeeping, because that will rip the jeeping. So you want to stay within the plastic of the top loading pocket or the page protector, and you're going to be adhering on here. So let me just show you what I learned from Lanita and also from Beth. Let me show you my samples. So this is the first sample that I made, and this is the one I did after watching Lanita Medina's video. So I wanted to do it with 6 pockets, and this was that, I think it was like candlelight or bright collection that we had for Christmas a few years ago. So I love that paper, and I thought, oh, rainbow. I was originally thinking maybe I'd use that for garden pictures or something, but I did it for an example to show my scrapbookers to see if they wanted to learn how to do it, which they did. And because I had this whole collection, I had enough pages, what I ended up doing, this is a top loading pocket, what I ended up doing was sliding the same piece of paper underneath, so that when you do this, and this one has 6 pockets, has 6 Peekaboo Pockets on it. Let me put that down in there. And the reason I wanted that same paper inside there, I didn't get it all the way, too much messing around. I try not to rush. Let's go. Okay, the reason that I did that is so that when you open it, it's going to go with it. And then I just used other colors from the or other pieces from this same collection for the other pages that I would be putting my photos on. Okay, so you can see those little cuts. That is what you're lining up here. That's what you're lining up here. So in order to do a 6 pocket Peekaboo Pocket cascading page, I cut my first piece of paper at 6 inches, and then I cut each of the other little strips at 1.25 inches. Now the tricky part, of course, is lining them up. I made this template, but I lined my template up so that this line that I drew here is where I was going to line up the pockets. Okay, Mary, I know my friend Mary, she drew her lines where she was going to adhere the pocket. I decided visually, it was easier for me to line it up where I was going to put the edge of the Peekaboo pocket. So you're kind of like, this is out of the way, so you're kind of like here, and you're lining it up, and you're not putting the sticky down until it lines up with that directly, okay? So that's how I did it, but you see all of these spaces are open for photographs and journaling. Now, one thing that Mary did, which I just loved, and you'll see I used that idea, is that she did I think 3 or 4 of these with parents of her parents on a trip, because she's making a book for her grandson. So it's kind of like a little heritage album. She was able to get a lot of photographs, and then she put a border. So each one of these spaces in between, she put a beautiful border that coordinated with the trip, or the area where they were on their trip. Was really pretty. It's open right now so that it goes with that same color, but you do have a lot of space for photographs. So if you did this 6 pocket, you could get 36 to 50 photos. If you could put photos on the front and the back. You wouldn't just have to have the paper showing. You would put the photographs. You could line up your photos, your journaling here, and every one of these pages would have lots and lots of photographs. Plus, what I like about the top loading pockets, you could do it with a regular paper too, is that you could also have photographs here. So this is the only sample I have with the 6 pockets. So we're going to go in descending order. We're going to go 6, 5, 4, 3, and I'm going to show you how I did the others. You already saw 2, which would be like a shutter. Could be a shutter up and top and bottom, or side to side. But if you want to have more than 2, then we call it cascading. So if you I do highly recommend, I was going to tell you too. So before you put these pockets on, what you would do with the top loading pocket or the regular page, you would slide this inside. You slide this down in your pocket. Let me just do it here. You slide that here so that when you're ready to line it up, like down here, well, you can't see it now because I have the pockets on here already. But when you're lining it up, like, you would know that this line right here is where you're going to be lining this one up. You also visually can look at what you have here and line them up accordingly, because you've got the paper on there and you've cut that paper or photograph, and then you can line it up visually. Is the easiest way. And don't press it down until you have it lined up. So now let me show you all the other ones I have. I have added photographs. So let me show you some of those samples. Well, my team leader, Beth Beller, she did it with photographs, with 12 by 12 photographs. I got these printed at Walgreens. So I'm going to just show you. I haven't done anything with these yet. But what I did is I ordered them from Walgreens. Now, they do have to ship them to you. You can't pick them up, but that's okay. So, for instance, I have an obsession with Christmas trees. I put up I'm not going to say way too many. I put up a lot of Christmas trees of all different sizes. I even count these little sweet babies. But I decided I want to do one page. I was thinking of an album, but I don't want to do a whole album just on Christmas trees. So instead, I'm going to make one of these cascade pages with the Christmas tree pictures. But before I cut it, I'm going to get an idea of how many photos I have. So this is one. I'm going to use this one. This was from a visit my daughter and I went to Murakami Museum. So for our my album, that's Places We Go, I'm going to make this of our Murakami pictures. This is our backyard. Here are 2 little painted buntings. There's a close-up picture of them as well. So I'm going to do birds in my garden. And then this one, just a picture of the full moon, that I'm crazy for the moon. Yes, I'm a lunatic. I love the moon, so I'm going to use this for some of my NASA and lunar exploration activities that I did. So I have these ready. I will confess, I did get 2 of this one because I was thinking, what did I mess up? And I did kind of mess up on some of them, but it's okay. We can fix it. All right, so let me show you the ones I made with the photos. So I'm going to start with the 5 pocket. So with the 5 pocket cascading pages, you do the first cut is 6 inches, of course, and then I cut 1.5 inches, 4 other pockets at 1.5 inches. You just do the math, that equals 12. So that's how you can figure out. But you can see that. Let me turn it sideways so you can see it better. can stop the video if you want to write that down. 5 pockets is 1 6-inch and 4 1.5-inch cuts. And I used a photograph for this one. Here it is. So this was a photograph I took in my garden, and I decided that I wanted to make it be like a walk through the garden. So on this one, I counted and made notes. So I have 1 photo on the front. I have 27 photos inside. And on the back, I have 7 more. So let's take a flip through. Is it busy? Yes. Do I mind? Not at all. My garden's a busy place. So I have photographs up here, and this is where I copied Mary's idea of doing the border. So I used that Monstera border with very much a tropical yard. So I put a border in between each one of these pockets. So I have my butterflies and herbs and hibiscus, bunnies and bees, basilisk lizard, and a black racer. It's a very busy yard. My favorite flower of all. And then just some other blossoms that I have, and it's very important to me to have a welcome space, and then places to sit down and enjoy. And then this is around our pond, some plants we have around our pond, my little Buddha there. All of these photos fit on this one page, plus my collage on the back. I mean, this is a win-win because it shows off my beautiful garden, takes me on a walk through my garden, but it's all on one page. And then I love Mary's idea of adding that border. I just think it's such a nice touch to do that. So, you know, it takes a village to do a lot of things, and this was one of them. All right, let's count down. We go to 4. A cascading page using 4 Peekaboo Pockets. The first cut, again, is always 6, and then 3 2-inch cuts. All right, now this one, I decided to make, this is another Places We Go, that page is going to be my son Eric and his wife Russa. We go on little nature walks. We try to do that. We try to schedule it once a month. This was at Jonathan Dickinson State Park. This is a very Florida park, very southern Florida park. This is how it is with the scrubs and then the pine trees. So on this one, I have, wait, let me tell you first, 1 photo on the front, 17 photos inside. I didn't put any on the back yet because I hadn't thought of that at the time. This is one of the first ones that I made, but I will definitely add photos on the back. So these are just the photos of us. I identify where we were. I took so many wildflower pictures that I thought, okay, I need to make sure that I show all of those. So there are 4 photos right here. And of course the butterflies and some more. I just took so many pictures of plants, and I was going to make a couple pages, but this was so much better. There we are. And then, you know, you want to try to pick designer paper that goes with whatever it is you're doing. And then a little different venue, another place that we walk up in Stewart. Well, right on the water, just beautiful. And the happy walkers, there we are. And now I will be able to add our next place that we go on the back here. So that is the 4 pocket. And the 4 pocket is 1 6-inch and then 3 2-inch cuts. 6, 2, 2, 2. And that, if you just do the math. Okay, now I forgot to mention this. If you have, if you have this wonderful blue ruler, or if you've made some templates for the photos, one of the things that I realized once I made the pages and put the pockets on, I thought, okay, it's going to be a little bit tricky to fit these photographs. So what I did was I got these templates out so that you could take a look inside the pockets and see about what size you're going to need your photos. You can always, use the ruler, or you can use those little templates. Okay, now we're going to do the pockets with 3. I ended up making 3 pages of the 3 cascading pockets. And this is very, very simple math. The first is 6-inch and then 2 3-inch. All right, so this first one is a photo of a page I made for our future grandbaby's shower. All right, so I have 1 photo on the front. I have 22 photos inside. And then I have 1 on the back of Mom and Dad to be. But the reason I decided to make a cascading page for this is I decided that for the baby shower that we had it early because we're in hurricane season now when our daughter-in-law would be a little more pregnant. So we did it to avoid all of that. But the reason I decided to make cascading is that these are the photos of the decorations and some of the food. The pages that are going to be open, the regular pages, I think I'm just going to leave the regular pages and do our family who we're here visiting and celebrating. So, as I said, I got 22 photos inside. These are the decorations, and with the spaces here, I was able to add more photos. Okay, and I'm going to pull this out in a second to show you. You have all these other spaces down here and all of these photos here. So I'm going to pull this out so you can see. This is why I like the top loading pocket, because it's easier to access. It's not like trying to pull out the page protector. And I literally, when you're making this, if you do the top loading pocket, when you are lining it up, you can see if you put it right next to it, you can see, okay, so that's going to be the space. That's going to be the space where that's going to show. This is where you're going to need a border here. And this is where these will be down here. Okay, so it worked out perfectly, just putting them like that. Putting them right beside each other. I added some stickers and embellishments. Got it all ready. This was a sticker, and then I added other little stickers on there. And then you pop this little one back inside. And there we go. So now I have 24 photos total, and I have all of our decorations and the treats that we gave people and the yummy food that we ate, all of it on one page. So now the rest of my pages can be of our family and friends who were here. All right, my next one. This next one again is 3, but when I was talking to my scrapbookers who were here, and I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to cut this bear. This was a bear that we saw in North Carolina when we went up for the scrapbooking trip. I said, I can't cut it vertically. And if I go from the top 6, I can't cut that bear. So Serena, shout out to Serena. She said, well, could you do it from the bottom? Which is what I did. And I haven't seen that. Thank you, Serena. Great idea. So I have 1 photo on the front. I have 21 photos inside, and put this here, and I have 6 on the back. This is our friend Linda. We went to scrapbook with her, but her husband Dave is the most amazing chef, and this was his pizza parlor where he has his pizza oven, and he makes the dough from Italian flour that he imports and all locally sourced ingredients in North Carolina. It was fabulous. So I got all that on the back, but so here's what I did. Instead of cascading down, now we have the cascades from the bottom to the top. So again, it's 3, so it's 3, 2, and 2. There's that little bear we saw on the way to the scrapbooking. And so now we're going to be reading it from the bottom to the top. It works for me. So this is when we just first arrived, on the way there, first arrived. And then I had all this space again to put the other photographs. And then here was our scrapping with the girls, and Linda and Dave's sweet puppy, Zoe. Sweet little girl. And then this was one of the last nights we were there that we went to dinner. We took them, as a thank you, took them to dinner, this fabulous Indian restaurant in Asheville. So again, when I did this, let me pull this out real quick. I know this, I hope this is not going to be too long of a video, but I have this. Okay, yeah. All right, so here I am. So on this page, again, see, this would be the widest part. So this is where I would put the pictures, and then this open space here, right here, that's what you see here. And then same thing on this one, and the same thing on this one. This open space here is where this is showing. It works out really well. And while it's out, and you add those, and I added the border, then you also make put your photos that you're going to put on the back. And there we go. So there's that one. Okay, and the last one I'm going to show you is also 3 pages, but I did a vertical. Okay, so this one, instead of using my template this way, I turned it like this, and this is how I lined it up I did a top loading pocket. So on this one, I have 1 in the front and 12 inside for 13 photos completely, but I didn't put any in the back yet. As I said, this was one of my earlier ones, but I wasn't even sure I could get the vertical one to work. So this is at the Loggerhead Marine Life Center. I love the seahorses there too, besides the turtles. So this one, I built it this way. So I have, I use stickers here for the title, this beautiful watery paper. And then over here, oh, and as you see, I had the turtle punch. So nice to have the turtle punch for this Loggerhead Marine Life Center. And here are those rescued turtles. They rehabilitate and then they release them. Jenny and I, my daughter and I, go there all the time. We have lots of visits to Loggerhead Marine. And here's the last one back here. Now, I could add photos to this. Do you see those open spaces? I could add photographs there. And of course I will, because we do go there most frequently. I'm sure I'll add some more in the back. But you see, it does work horizontally, vertically. You just have to kind of plan a little bit. And I'll be honest, the trickiest part was finding photographs that will fit within that space. But I'm sure you can do it. I'm sure you will figure it out, have a ball, and enjoy and get those photos cascading away. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope this gave you some inspiration. Be brave. Try those cascading pages. You know, you can make it work, and you can get a lot of photographs in a little bitty space. So if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments below. I will be putting links there for buying the Peekaboo Pockets. If you have an advisor, shop with your advisor. If you don't have an advisor and you need one, I would love to be your advisor. Also, please stop by Linda's Scrapbooking Station. Remember, I have my ready, set, scrap kits, and I keep adding more all the time. Thanks so much for watching. Get those cascading pages going. Happy scrapbooking.